Now, I bet you've read at least one headline on ChatGPT this week. That headline could have also been written by ChatGPT. Could it be this headline, ChatGPT passes the US law exams? Or this one, ChatGPT clears the medical exam? Or this one, ChatGPT clears Wharton's MBS exam? Or how schools are concerned about ChatGPT? Or how professors are saying that ChatGPT will reduce the value of education? And of course, this headline, Microsoft is investing in OpenAI, the company that has created ChatGPT. Now, many of you may be wondering, what really is ChatGPT and what is all the fuss about? But I'm going to try and answer that question very briefly tonight, and I assure you we're going to be talking a lot more about this in the weeks and years ahead. ChatGPT is an AI chatbot, but so are Siri or Alexa, right? So yes, that is true, but there is a reason why ChatGPT is different and why AI is something that I will be repeatedly talking about on this program for a long, long time. Virtually all AI so far has been what is called narrow AI. What does that mean? Well, it can do one thing and it can do it quite well. I'm thinking about Google Maps here. But like curing cancer is the holy grail for medicine, AI researchers are looking for something called AGI, or artificial general intelligence. That's the sort of intelligence that humans have. ChatGPT isn't there yet, not even close, but it is a step in that direction. And that is why Microsoft has just invested billions of dollars into ChatGPT and why all those headlines are being created. But how is all of this going? Well, who better to talk to about that than Vivek Wadhwa? He's an author, an academic, an entrepreneur, and one of the leading thinkers on exponential technologies such as AI, Internet of Things, driverless cars, or cancer. He's just met Prime Minister Modi here in India to talk about technology and to talk about how the cure for cancer can come from India. I interviewed him a few days ago, just minutes after his meeting with the Prime Minister. He says he's worried about ChatGPT, although he does feel that Microsoft could be a stabilizing influence. He also spoke about the cure for cancer. Let me play that interview for you. Well, for many years, I felt that if you really want to understand what's going to happen in the world of technology and which way the world is going and which of these exponential technologies is going to take off, no better person to talk to than Professor Vivek Wadhwa. And we are really lucky that he's with us right here to talk to us. And I guess I'm even luckier because you're talking to us just after meeting Prime Minister Modi.
Yes.
So it's an honor, right? You're coming from...
I had an amazing meeting with the Prime Minister, and I've met him twice now. And he's just incredible how insightful he is. I mean, I talk to CEOs all the time of technology companies and other companies. He knows industries such as, he knows technology such as cancer and science and technology better than these CEOs do.
Okay, I want to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to walk around here and I'm going to ask you to outline for us what is happening in all of these great technologies, from genomics to genetics to AI to robotics, space and the rest of it. But I'm just going to start off with what you were talking to the Prime Minister about, which is really more healthcare, right? Cancer, saving the world and cancer. Tell us a little about that. What is it that you were talking to him about?
Vikram, I lost my dear wife to cancer. You know that, okay? It's been nearly 4 years. And the only thing that kept me going were her words saying, Vivek, help others. She said, make sure no one suffers the way I did. So my life's mission then became to cure cancer. So I had put together, with the amazing scientists from the United States who tried to help me save her, we put together a grand plan to cure cancer. Now, United States, I'm talking about Harvard Medical, Mayo Clinic, the top institutions over there. And I'm in Silicon Valley, I have access to everyone. We realized that we could not execute this plan in America because America, from a cancer health point of view, has peaked. There's so many barriers, so much protection that you can't make progress anymore. India was a place to be.
Hang on, you're saying that the cure for cancer could come out of India, not so much the US.
The cure of cancer will come out of India now. The United States is not capable of doing the big things that it needs to do. So I came here, I met Prime Minister Modi in Kevadia, Gujarat. And I was amazed that he really got it, and he said he'll do whatever he can to support me. So Venkat Ramachandran, who was Ratan Tata's trusted lieutenant, he was starting up a company to integrate India's cancer care system, and we agreed to merge our efforts and now to launch the most ambitious project in the world to cure cancer.
Okay, just want to understand why are you saying this cannot be done in the US and why are you saying it can be done in India? And then I want to understand how you're going to cure cancer.
Vikram, in a nutshell, India has no legacy industry to protect. The American medical system is corrupt. It is, it's all geared about making money.
Very high fees,
ridiculous.
Everything dependent on
and
insurance.
You do anything and you get
companies.
sued. Okay, the entire system is geared towards keeping it static so that these companies can make money. India is desperate now to catch up with the world in science and technology. It is desperate. The government is desperate. I know Prime Minister Modi is desperate to help his people. He cares about his people like no one have ever seen. He is genuine. He really wants now to be there, to be no suffering, and he wants to uplift the population. You put all these ingredients together, and then the science and technology that we have here. We have the most amazing scientists in the world. Technology, India is the world leader in technology now.
People would say that the real research is not yet being done here. You don't. No, they're talking about getting foreign universities in here and research.
We're going to bring it here. We're going to bring it here because, you see, for this cancer project. So on the one hand, they're integrating the cancer care system and providing a path for anyone who has cancer. The second part of it is what I wanted. I wanted the largest clinical trial in world history, where we gather all the data, biosamples, and information necessary to cure cancer. So we're gathering that. And what's happened now is that even Harvard, the top scientists from Harvard and Mayo who came with me here, they want to move their research over here because they believe that they can make breakthroughs here at a pace that is impossible in the United States. Keith Flaherty, the head of clinical research at Harvard, he is so excited about it. And then Aparna Parekh, she actually wants to move back to India. Her family is from India. She wants to move back here because she believes that she can make world-changing discoveries here.
Okay, what specifically is there about? People have been trying to cure cancer for a long time, right? You're
okay, now let's talk. But this is where it comes to technology.
Why do you think now it can finally? We've tried various things, immune therapy, chemotherapy. All of those things have been done. What is different? Why do you think we can now cure cancer?
Okay, let's go back to COVID, which is near and dear to everyone's hearts. It took 24 hours from the time that the COVID was sequenced for two companies to develop vaccines for it. It took months to test it, but 24 hours because they knew exactly what to target. When they had the data, they knew they had to target the spike protein, and using the microRNA platform, they could develop this thing. That is what's possible today. With cancer, we need to know what to target. For that, you need data. You need to have samples. You need to have medical histories. You need to have genomes. All of that we can do in India for a 10th or even a 50th of the price of whatever it costs in the United States. And then, we start moving. If you have all of this data and the biosamples here, and nothing's going to leave India. From a data security point of view, the highest standards in the world. But if you want to be able to do this research, you come to India. That's what we're doing. And the result is that you have now Japan's Rakuten that's moving clinical trials here and moving some research over here. And you have Harvard and Mayo all wanting to be in India.
No, but I'm just trying to understand the specific cure. So I get the data part of it. I get that you can do genome. Do you feel that the treatment will be from gene therapy, from genomics,
all of the above, and machine learning to understand all of this information, and then using some of the newer technologies to identify molecules which might work on them, and then being able to test them and implement them in a short period of time. India can do this within months.
Just to understand now the technology, let's just move from this to looking at the broader path of technology. The promise that there was a few years ago, I think when we last met, which was stem cells, genomics, CRISPR is here.
All is happening.
All of healthcare is going to change.
Yes.
Then the pandemic happened. The last time I met you was before the pandemic. Pandemic happened and suddenly we're not sure anymore whether healthcare is going to exist and whether we are going to have the promised land. Okay, are we about to cure all disease?
My first disagreement with you. Pandemic, we developed vaccines at a pace which was, experts were saying it takes 30 years to develop a vaccine.
Yeah.
Within 6 months, we developed a vaccine for that. India developed 2 or 3 different solutions, okay? So we basically broke all records in medical research. And that has laid the foundation for a whole series of new events by which we're going to cure every disease.
So I'm just trying to understand the genomic revolution. That's what I'm trying to say, the genomic revolution
synthetic biology, and then AI.
It's a reality now, you feel?
Yes.
Is it going to happen?
Yes.
When do you think we are going to say that through technology, we can find a cure for many of the things that have been plaguing us? You're talking about cancer, there are other diseases
in this decade. And India is going to lead the world in all of this.
Hang on, you said this decade.
In this decade.
That's a rather bold prediction,
I'm
Professor
going
Wadhwa.
on the record. Let's watch and see what happens.
You are saying that we could have a cure for cancer.
Cancer is not one disease. Every cancer is unique. We will have a cure for many cancers. We'll have treatments for many cancers in this decade. And they're going to come from India.
Okay, without wishing to sound skeptical in any way, because I also do believe in the power of exponential technology, people will say we're not being able to solve the common cold just yet, right? And we haven't been able to solve influenza just yet. And, you know, we've seen the COVID.
But we solved COVID. We developed vaccines for COVID, didn't we? Yeah. Virtually overnight.
Fair enough.
Using new technologies.
So you're saying cancer 10 to 15 years is possible?
Cancer in the next 8 years is possible.
A cure for cancer?
A cure for most cancers, to be specific.
Okay. You know, I think the last time I spoke to you was about 2-3 years ago. You gave me a copy of your book, The Driver and the Driverless Car.
Right.
And I remember you writing as a foreword to that this is the most exciting period in human history because what was once science fiction is now becoming a reality.
Yes.
I still remember that, right?
Yes, yes.
Which are the other areas, other than healthcare, where that's going to happen?
I mean, we're going to have flying cars in this decade. Literally, Delhi to get to Gurgaon. Imagine now being able to take a drone and get there. In the next 5 years or so, you're going to have services that provide that.
Driverless cars, though, is still not a reality. It's a promise, but
Yeah.
you've seen what's been happening with Tesla. Tesla is not having the best period. People are saying that, okay, flying cars is a possibility, but even driverless cars hasn't yet been done.
Vikram, the next 5 years, this is running 5 years behind my own expectations. Yeah. But they'll work. I'm not convinced that Tesla will work because Tesla doesn't have the right sensors. Elon has done a lot of stupid things. I used to be Elon's greatest fanboy.
I know.
Now, if you follow me on Twitter...
I remember you driving me around in your Tesla and saying how great
now I'm his biggest critic because Elon has gone off track. He's made many mistakes with the technology, and I don't think that I had owned 2 Teslas now. I don't think my car is ever going to have full FSD, full service driving. However, there are a bunch of other companies that are developing. Waymo is making a lot of progress. There are dozens of companies worldwide that are working on it. Next 5 years or so, they'll begin to work. Now, when will they work in Delhi? I don't know if God could even drive in Delhi, okay? So that's a different problem.
Delhi, I think it's an unfair test to throw to anybody.
But on the highways, we will definitely have self-driving cars in the next few years.
Next part of technology that I want to talk to you about, which is where I think there has been some reasonably dramatic progress, is AI. Now, ChatGPT, I know there are critics, and I know you yourself have been a critic. You almost said that it can get information wrong. It got some information wrong about you. Do you think, however, it is starting to point to the fact that we're moving from narrow AI, which can do one little thing well, to a slightly more generalized form of AI? And that, of course, is the holy grail.
The models that we're talking about are defective. That they're not going to get to AI.
You're talking about ChatGPT.
ChatGPT and a lot of the existing models. Not that we're not going to make breakthroughs eventually, but we're nowhere near the AI of science fiction. However, this technology is amazing. I mean, I used it to write my last article for the Hindustan Times and for Fortune magazine. I just gave it the notes I wanted, and I put them together. I wrote a 1,500-word article with it within an hour. So on things like that, it's amazing.
I'm just trying to understand this. If you were to ask the average person on the street, right, he would say that in the last 2-3 months, you've actually seen more dramatic progress on AI rather than biotech. You seem to be almost saying the other way around.
There have been amazing breakthroughs on AI. The trouble is that the AI we have today is defective. It has serious flaws in it, and it has no guardrails. This is why I think ChatGPT should be removed from the market for at least 2 or 3 years until they build the guardrails around it. It is dangerous technology because it looks real, it looks accurate, and it makes major mistakes.
Dangerous, that's a strong word to use.
Yes.
Why are you saying dangerous? Because of misinformation or something else?
First of all, we can now generate misinformation on a very large scale. I mean, putting out fake news stories, it's going to happen at a pace that you've never seen before. It looks to be correct and makes serious errors. I mean, when my son asked it about our family, Vivek Wadhwa and his family, it came up with a fictional wife that I had and children that I don't have. Okay, it hurt me and it hurt the family a lot because you know how close I was to my wife, right? That was hurtful, dangerous. But it also now is generating academic studies which look real, but they're fake. Okay, so
I know people who've written code using ChatGPT, which is authentic code, so there are certain things it can do really well.
Yes, that's the problem. It does something so well that's amazing, but there are no guardrails. There's nothing to prevent it from being used for evil. Yeah. That's what I keep worrying about. Technology can be used for good and evil. Here, There are no rules, regulations, there are no guardrails to prevent it from being used for evil, and you know that it's going to be used for evil before it's used for good.
That tends to happen in most. However, the real scary scenario with AI, and I want to know where you stand on this, is of course that perennial fear that this is narrow AI, you'll get to general intelligence, becomes super intelligence, you'll have Skynet and it's going to wipe out the planet.
We're nowhere near that. Well, what's going to wipe out the planet is misinformation and us killing each other because we hate each other. I mean, even in India, you have the left and the right that have been polarized to the extreme. In America, you have it. In Brazil, you had it, okay? That's because technology is now feeding us misinformation, getting us into bubbles, and really causing us to hate each other even more. So that's what's going to destroy us isn't runaway AI. We're nowhere near that. What's going to destroy us is misinformation. This is why I'm worried about ChatGPT.
So misinformation, I'm just trying to say, why do you feel that we are not heading anywhere close to general intelligence? Is it a goal that you think is never going to happen? Or will it happen but at sufficiently far?
It won't happen with the existing technologies.
Well, obviously, but you know, this is ChatGPT 3.
I know.
Look at ChatGPT 40.
ChatGPT 40, I don't think it's going to get there because the platform, just like I'm telling you, I don't think Tesla will be able to get to full service driving because it doesn't have the right sensor, it doesn't have the LiDAR sensors, and it's basically off track. The same thing happened with the current generation of AI chatbots. But that doesn't mean someone won't develop an entirely new model, entirely new platform for it, which will be magic. I don't see that in the next 1 or 2 years, but after that, you never know.
Okay. There's also a theory, which I know you espoused once to me, that with exponential technology, look, why are we excited about this technology? Because actually, it's leading to change at a pace faster than we imagine, and it's also leading to a pace of change faster than we can imagine. Now, what that means is that you could get a technological solution to many things that today we're very concerned about. Climate change, for example, who knows? Tomorrow you could have new technology that is limitless energy, and if you have limitless energy, then you have limitless water because you can desalinate water. All of those things become possible.
The cost of solar is dropping 15 to 20% every year. The cost of battery storage is dropping 15 to 20% a year. Move forward 5 years. What happens? The cost of putting solar panels on your house is 1/2 of what it is today, 1/3 of what it is today, and suddenly it's cheaper than buying it from the government, from the grid. It happens globally. So the clean energy revolution is at hand. Electric cars, within 5 years, every major auto manufacturer is going to discontinue selling petroleum-based cars because electric will be much cheaper. I mean, my Tesla doesn't require any
driverless cars may still be some distance away, but electric cars, that revolution is here
next 5 years, it's going to happen. And India is doing all the right things to encourage this industry.
Yeah.
So that's happening. We're moving to 100% clean energy. And then we have all of these other advances in medicine, medicine/health, in robotics. One of the big problems America has right now is that it's dependent on China because of the cheap labor we have there. Well, guess what? In the last 2 or 3 years, robots can do what human beings can do. Watch the Boston Dynamics videos. Robots are jumping there.
Amazon's found, their new robots which can 33x is the improvement in the robots to sort shelves.
So robots can now do manufacturing because we don't have to send goods to China for manufacturing. Even in India,
what's going to happen to everyone's jobs?
I'm looking for toys for my grandchildren. It's all made in China junk. So you could actually manufacture toys in India again. India could become a central hub for manufacturing using automation for the entire, Southeast Asia.
But you would argue that there are a lot of people out here, so what are they going to do? What's going to happen to jobs?
India has to rebuild its cities, infrastructure. I'm not worried about employment in India for the next 30 years because there's so much to be done in rebuilding the infrastructure. Imagine building new cities, smart cities. Imagine building, new highways for drones and pilots. All the jobs that are going to be created there because India has an abundance of talent. Indians are going to be building these futuristic technologies. I talked about cancer. I'm bringing the cancer project to India because India can do what the rest of the world can't do. I'm also working on transforming agriculture, a technology from Chile, from a company called Plasma Waters, that has made major breakthroughs in being able to generate 100% organic fertilizer and pesticide using water and air, bringing it to India because India has no barriers and it will readily adapt these technologies, and we have people who can take it all across the country. India has so many advantages. This is why I believe it's destined to rule the world in many, many of these areas of technology, India is going to be a net
So
beneficiary.
adopt technology, because technology changing the world, and you do believe that India also has an advantage in that. Is some
Because you know, the value system of India is to do good for humanity, right? I mean, yes, there's some bad people here, but overall, part of our values and our culture is about giving back. So when my wife, you know, was leaving me, she said, Vivek, go and do good for the world, because she knew that's what kept me motivated. It's part of my value system is to do good for the world, to uplift humanity. That's how Indians generally are, because of their upbringing, because of their family values. So this is where the innovation has to be. And this, India can make a major impact on humanity.
Professor Wadhwa, it's always such a pleasure talking to you. I'm always excited to hear your vision of how technology is going to change the planet. And it's also good to hear you saying that you think a lot of that innovation is going to be happening
Absolutely.
right now.
And by the way, I'm your biggest fan.
Oh,
So
thank you so much. You just made my year.
Absolutely.
Not just my day, you made my year.
Good.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right.